John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I have been in the credit industry for almost 30 years. I spent time at Equifax, which is one of the 3 credit reporting agencies in the United States, and also FICO, which is the company that is behind the FICO credit scoring system. So today we're going to talk, this is a good one. We're going to talk about a method where you can use the grace period on your credit card to improve your credit scores. This is what I would refer to as an ethical credit score hack. No one watching this today could ever reasonably accuse what I'm about to tell you as being unethical or illegitimate. So we're going to talk about grace periods, credit reporting, and credit scoring, and then we're going to put it all together before we get done, and I'll explain how you can use the grace period to help you improve your credit scores. The CARD Act, the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act of 2009, instituted a mandatory 21-day grace minimum 21-day grace period on consumer credit cards. And so what that means is when you get your statement from your credit card issuer, you have to be given 21 days to make your payment, whether it's a payment in full, the minimum payment, or some amount in between the maximum and the minimum payment. That's called a grace period. So let's talk about the other important date as it pertains to your credit card account, and then we're going to put this all together. So most credit cards have what's called a 30-day billing cycle, which means that all of your charges and payments and credits and fees, anything that occurs in this 30-day period, the aggregate of these events, the math or the sum of these events, are going to equal the balance that shows up on your statement. When this 30-day period ends, it's called the statement closing date. And so whatever your balance is as of this statement closing date, that's what is going to appear not only on your credit card statement, but that's also, and this is important, that's also what is going to appear on your credit report. So the challenge that you have is how can you time, this is all about timing, how can you time the balance on your credit report to coincide with something less than the actual full balance on your statement? And here's how you do it. There's actually a couple ways you can do it. The 21-day grace period is going to be something that if you make your payment in full every single month, you don't really need, okay? Most people who pay their bill on time in full every single month don't need that additional 21 days to do so. They're able to do so because they have enough cash on hand that they can make the payment anytime they want and pay the balance in full. So you're going to forego the 21-day grace period because you're not going to need it in this instance. What you're going to do is you're going to make multiple payments on your credit card bill during this 30-day period. You can just go online to your credit card account and make a payment as often as you want. It's not your actual real formal payment, but you're making payments against whatever the balance happens to be at that particular time. So at the end of this 30-day billing cycle, you will have made so many payments, whether they're large payments, small payments, multiple payments, fewer payments of larger amounts, that hopefully the balance that shows up on your statement is a number that's lower than what it normally would have been had you made no payments during this 30-day period and then simply depended on the 21-day grace period to make only a single payment at this time. This doesn't help your credit score, and here's why. Because credit scores are based on credit reports, and the data on your credit report is not real time, meaning that the balance that's reported is only reported once per month, and it's always based on the balance of your statement closing date. So you need to get this number to be as low as possible. Let's say hypothetically you were going to make a payment of $1,000 on your credit card bill the next time it came. Well, it would be better if you made, say for example, $900 worth of payments during the 30-day period and then just made a $100 payment when your bill came in the mail, which is probably going to be more than your minimum payment anyways, hopefully. But what you will have done is the net effect of this is that you lowered the balance on this as of the statement closing date by $900. That's what ended up on your credit report. You still made the same payment amount. You didn't make any different payment. You didn't have to pay more against your bill than you normally did. You paid the same amount. You just kind of spread the payments out. You were a little bit more strategic with how you made the payments, and you just reduced the balance that showed up on your credit report by $900 at the same time. So what that's going to do is that's going to reduce the balance to credit limit ratio, and that's obviously something that's very important in your credit score. This is a pretty small example. To the extent that this results in you paying off your card completely, meaning that the statement that you get at the end of the month has a zero balance, that's perfect, because you don't need the 21-day grace period because there is no payment due if you have a zero balance. You made the same payment anyways that you were going to make if you were going to rely on the grace period, and you just ended up with a zero balance on a credit report. That means a lower revolving utilization ratio, which is good, one fewer account with one fewer, whatever the proper way to say it is, one less account with a balance on your credit report, and obviously that's good for your credit scores. So really the net of everything you did here was you didn't spend a dime more than you were going to spend anyways on your payments, but you've just improved two of the metrics in credit scoring systems. And so this is one of the ways that you can actually kind of hack the credit scoring system without really doing anything nefarious or illegitimate. You can do this with every single one of your credit cards. You can do it with just one of your credit cards. You can kind of experiment with this to see which way yields the highest credit score possible. But nonetheless, what this requires you to do is to kind of break free from this 21-day grace period mentality where you feel like you always have to wait till you get a bill in the mail to make a payment, and kind of re-engineer how you manage your credit card so that you're making multiple payments during the month. I mean, most people get paid twice a month. So you have a paycheck at the beginning of the month, you have a paycheck in the middle of the month. So you should, or hopefully you have some sort of liquidity so that you can do something like this. And at the end of the month, ultimately, you end up with a lower balance on your credit report, fewer balances on your credit report, and hopefully higher credit scores. So if you have any questions about this strategy, I know it's a little complex, but if you have any questions about the strategy, please let me know. Drop them in the comments section below and I'll do my best to get to them. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, you don't need the 21-day grace period.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.